Welcome, everyone. I just want to welcome everyone to our first Trailblazer event. This is a woman in tech event. Um, I just want to see, just to get a bit of interaction. Can you raise up your hand? Tell us where you're from. I can see this is Zandi Ngema. Where you from? What do you do? And yeah, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Zandi? Okay. I'm not sure. Oh, there she is.
It's good. It's good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Zandingem. I'm from KZN, but currently in Limpopo. So I am currently a student and I'm fascinated by the tech sector. Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Zandi Ngema. I see, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but please forgive me. Is it Adegbite Adenike? Can you tell us where you're from and where you're joining us from? We'd like to hear more about you. Adegbite. Okay, I think they're not responding. So I just want to thank you so much for everyone who is here. It is much appreciated. We are Malaba Consulting, and this is our first women in tech event. We just want to celebrate women today. It's International Women's Day, and it's such a fitting day to actually have this and introduce what we have in our company and to just celebrate it. And we just want to celebrate with you, all the small businesses and every individual who wants to contribute to the tech world, especially women, as it is International Women's Day. I just want to share a brief presentation of what Malaba Consulting is all about. Yes, so today is the 8th of March, and we are celebrating Trailblazers Spotlight. It's International Women's Day. Um, just to give you a brief introduction of what Malaba Consulting is all about. We are a group of people, a group of investors also. I want to say spirit-filled. We are entrepreneurs who impart tech startups to create innovative solutions that drive economic growth. And we uplift communities across African nations out of poverty, as we know that Africa has always had the stigma of living in poverty, not being creative. So this is going to show, it's going to show the world and also women, show women in our countries that we are very innovative, and yet we are also doing our part in fighting poverty. So Malaba Consulting is also pushing that. Just to look at our impact, accelerating the African tech ecosystem. We have 80% of startup scale up their operations within a year of graduating. And I just want to say that 30% of this 80, that 30% from this 80% are women who are in tech, who have started their own businesses, who have actually have had the passion to just impact the ecosystem positively. We have plus 500 entrepreneurs, investors, mentors actively collaborating across Africa. We have plus 30 business matching through a soft landing program, which I'll explain a bit later what it's all about. We have plus 200 hours of consulting services to help startups to date. When you start a business, it's very lonely, and you need a lot of help. You need a lot of backing, especially someone to hold your hand throughout the whole process. It's not that easy to just start a business and you immediately become successful. Many of us, especially when it comes to startups, especially in tech, we need a lot of backing from consultants, those who have been in the game a bit longer and those who understand the market and all that is needed for a business. So so far we've raised 2.6 million startup fundraising in the pipeline, excuse me. And this means that there's a lot of startups that actually need financial backing, and we continuously help and we continuously stand in the gap for them to help them to grow their businesses to a greater level. And then how do we support startups? So we have MC Ventures, we have the ecosystem building services, we have the community. That is on our webpage, where you find a lot of the startups who are like-minded like you, and you basically communicate with each other just to help each other, give each other support in starting a business, especially in our world. So just to explain the MC Ventures, the MC Accelerator, we offer on Replay IR. That is educational content just to help businesses, small businesses, startups to continuously be investor ready. Our investor ready toolkit is a one-page investor deck where we teach you on how to build that. We have a data room which we show you a lot of the investors when you present when you desire to have, or what is it, when you want funding, especially angel investors. We have venture capitalists. They need to see your data room in order to know what they're putting their money in. And then we have strategic advisory, which we help you throughout how to basically build a good data room. We have fundraising. We do fundraising for you. We'll help you with the fundraising to connect you to the right investors. And once again, if with us, we have the AWS Cloud Credit, which gives you time to actually explore on how to use it, especially when it comes to websites and saving very important documents. We work with AWS, which gives cloud credit. And then once again, the ecosystem building services, we have the soft landing program, once again, the resources consulting, we have the gap analysis, the GTM strategies, software development. And once again, as I explained with the community, there's networking, there's investor access, there's mentorship, there's knowledge, there's sharing. So you basically do not walk this journey lonely. You have other like-minded people, as I've mentioned before, who will work the journey with you, and you advise each other better. So we connect you to this community, which will help you to grow better in your business and not feel tedious or mundane throughout your journey of growing your business. And once again, we have the services. One of the services that we also, like I said, the MC Accelerator. Excuse me. This is an 8-week journey with us, where it's tailored for tech African early stage startups, which is conducted online. We have different services that we give. As we said, this is a curriculum. We teach you business strategy boosts, like how to get strategy within the business. We boost you with that. We help with that. We teach you how to market yourself right when it comes to your business and your products. We help you with product development and scalability plans. We help you with developing a BMC. Once again, we also help with operating and team building, digital marketing, and just there's more advantages to this. And we help you we teach you, once again, with understanding financial statement, the budget, and cash flow, just to name the least. And then there's market validation, where We help you with market research, which teach you how to do market research and analysis, product market fit refinement. And then once again, we have legal and compliance. This is where, once again, we also teach you how to understand legal structures for the businesses. A lot of the people who start businesses, they don't know where to start or how to do it professionally. Many of the, especially when you come to Africa, a lot of businesses are informal. So we help you to become more formal, more professional, so you become more attractive to investors. And then we help you with fundraising strategies, mentorship, and guidance, just to name the least once again. Pardon me for that. Okay. Yes, I apologize for that. Yes, just to get back to it. Once again, we have key deliverables and KPIs. For each startup, Malaba Consulting commits to delivering comprehensive startup diagnostic and roadmap, detailed businesses and financial models structuring, pitch deck optimization, and investor communication strategy, mentorship and networking opportunities with investors, final impact assessment. So basically, we walk the journey with you. We don't just let you register and throw stuff at you. We walk the journey with you. We teach, we help however we can, so that your business can stand out, your business can be professional, your business can be attractive to investors and to other businesses who actually would want to work with you. Then we have our soft landing program. This is where we bring external businesses into our market. So this is called business matchmaking. So one of the companies that we worked with was Westgrow, where I believe they're from China or Korea, if I'm not mistaken. They came in to actually see how we run, how we do things in Africa, and they're also interested in investing into our ecosystem to help African companies to grow more. So we do business matchmaking, where we basically just we just basically bring external investors into our economy to also get more help from the external businesses. Then we have the Trailblazers initiative. With this, we have a year-long series of high impact events. Once again, to connect. Our events are to connect. Our events are to bridge the gap. Our events are to introduce you to other companies, also external big businesses and investors, to help your business grow. We have our pillars are startup acceleration, investment readiness, and the ecosystem building. Once again, the grand finale will be Trailblazers Impact Awards. This is where we celebrate African innovators. We celebrate them on how much creativity we have and the businesses that continuously become that basically better products that are in Africa in order to build our economy better. And once again, going back to our vision to eradicate poverty. So this is our Trailblazers initiative. We have a timeline of Trailblazers events throughout the year. Once again, today is our first one, and our Trailblazers Africa Day showcase in person that will be held in Cape Town on the 25th in 2025. Once again, this is where people showcase their innovative ideas, their products, and let's see how what we can contribute to our economy in order to grow it. And then we have Youth Blazers Pitch Day. This will be on Youth Day, which is celebrated in South Africa on the 16th of June. Now, we also give youth people the opportunity to show what they have to what they have to offer to our economy. There's a lot of businesses that are needed in our economy. We need to grow. We still need to get our products out there. So this is also an opportunity to show that we too are capable. We too can grow our economy with our own products, not just continuously I'll say downgrading ourselves. Then once again, we have the women in tech pitch competition. Now, this is obviously only for women who are in business. You come to, we meet in person and you present your business. You present what you've been working on, or you present what your idea of how you want to, of the kind of business you want to run. And that will happen in late June in 2025. Then we have Trailblazers Retreat, Innovators and Investors, where meet up. Now, I believe this is such a big event because you get the opportunity to present your business. You become your business, and you meet investors who will see the person behind the idea, because the idea may be great, but sometimes it just needs a little bit of personality. So sometimes when people meet you in person, they actually understand what your business is all about. And once again, we have a formal gala event, which is Trailblazers Impact Awards, which will happen in Cape Town on the 15th of November. These are awards where we award people with the businesses that, you know, that have basically impacted the economy greatly. There's so many of them, and there's so many that are coming up. And I believe that this is such a great event to celebrate people and not just acknowledge them by saying great work, but by acknowledging them to give them that incentive of like, keep going and keep growing your business because you're doing great for the economy. Yes. So why partner with us? We empower women in digital and retail technology. You know, we align with industry innovation. Our Trailblazer Spotlight Women in Tech, once again, this is the event we're doing now. We position as a champion of innovation and diversity. We creating lasting social and economic impact. So we don't just want your business to be a once-off. There's a lot of stigma of businesses just going down, especially African business going down or closing down after 5 years. We help you to grow it further than 5 years and to help you to scale up. That's basically what we do thus far. Thank you so much. I just want to hand over to Pavashni. She's one of the ladies who's part of the panel discussion. I believe you enjoy this panel discussion, and please engage. Please talk to us. We want to know more about you, about your business, where you're from, especially, I mean, different countries in Africa experience different things. So we just want to know more about you. And I believe the ladies are going to do a great job. Over to you, Pavashni.
Thank you so much for that, Ampur. As you've all heard, Maloba Consulting, it's an African company for Africa. So please, any questions, if you want more information on the upcoming events, please put it in the chat, get in touch. We're happy to share the details. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for International Women's Day today. Please let's get the energy flowing to celebrate this momentous day. Please interact in the chat, introduce yourself, let us know where you're coming from. Please react, add questions, comments. If you'd like to echo the sentiments of our esteemed speakers for the day, please share the link and post on all platforms, #Trailblazers Spotlight and #Women in Technology. The theme for International Women's Day 2025 is Accelerate Action, focusing on speeding up women's equality for all women and girls, equality, empowerment. This theme calls for action to unlock equal rights, power, and opportunities for all. One of the key ways to accelerate action is having men as allies. Men as allies to women are crucial in helping prevent women from being undermined, whether in the workplace, social settings, or broader societal structures. When men actively challenge behaviors that belittle or marginalize women, such as dismissive comments, unequal opportunities, or patronizing attitudes, they contribute to creating an environment where women's voices and contributions are valued equally. By standing up against sexism and speaking out against injustice, men help ensure that women are not silenced and overlooked. When women are constantly undermined, it can lead to a cycle of self-doubt and diminished confidence, resulting in internalized doubt, causing them to question their abilities and hold back from opportunities. Men who actively support women by challenging these negative dynamics help break the cycle, creating an environment where women can thrive without fear of being belittled. At Maloba Consulting, we believe in the power of men as allies to women. We understand that gender equality is not just a women's issue, but a collective responsibility. By encouraging men to become active supporters of gender equality, we work to build a more inclusive, respectful, and empowering environment for everyone. Men as allies play a critical role in dismantling barriers and elevating women's voices, helping create a society where men and women can succeed and thrive equally. That is a lovely segue into our esteemed panel speakers today, including one of our male allies, Ridzani. I am Pravashni Reddy, the Investor and Startup Relations Lead at Maloba Consulting, who will be your moderator today. Unfortunately, our speaker, Lena, had an unforeseen emergency and could not join us this afternoon. Our esteemed speakers will briefly introduce themselves, as I will not do justice in outlining their amazing achievements before we jump into today's chat for more on them. I'll hand it to you to start off, Yuha, if that's all right.
Right. I hope everybody can hear me fine. I'm Yuha Jin. Thank you for inviting me for this wonderful event. I'm joining in from Seoul, Korea. If any of you know about Seoul, I'm based in Seoul, Korea. I'm a Korean, but I've been an entrepreneur for the past decade, running a company called Tella, which I have founded with my co-founders with a mission to create job opportunities for African youth. The main countries so far have been mainly Uganda, Kenya, and Ghana. Now I think we are going into the southern region of the continent, but we've been able to create more than 200 jobs in Africa for African youth, them being English tutors online for Koreans and our neighbors, Japanese. So that's the business I've been doing, and also diving into other business ventures, mainly between Africa and Korea. So I'm very excited to share any insight that I have or any experience that I have as a woman and as an entrepreneur in the African continent. So nice to meet you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Yua. That's really wonderful to hear. 200 jobs for African growth and economic development. That's absolutely amazing. Ridzani, if you could please intro yourself.
Afternoon, everyone, and morning to some of you. Probably good evening to very few little. My name is Ridzani Makatu. I work with information security at MTN Group. For those who don't know, MTN Group, it's MTN actually, it's the largest telco in Africa. I think you mentioned Uganda and Kenya, in some of those countries. So I'm responsible there for cybersecurity from an architecture space. We've built one of the largest fintech product in MTN. Some of you might know it as Momo or mobile money. So I'm once responsible for making sure that your monies in those e-wallets are secured. Besides that, I've done a lot of integration, a lot of APIs. I'm quite technical, and I'm also business focused. For anyone on the chat, if you want to connect with me, I'm on LinkedIn. If you want to hear how to do it from the bottom up, I'm one of those few engineers who would like to teach from the basics. I avoid jargons, so I'll keep it as simple as possible so that we flow with each other. And yeah, I'm the only man in this panel, and that's great for the audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ridzani. That's amazing. Your achievement is amazing. We look forward to hearing a little bit more. Going back to you, Yuha, Through Tella, you've created countless opportunities for African youth, including women, to thrive in the digital economy. As someone committed to empowerment, how do you recommend that your work fosters an inclusive environment that values diversity and empowers women, especially in cross-cultural spaces like South Korea and Africa? And how does that diversity fuel innovation, particularly in the global digital economy? And what can we do to accelerate action towards creating a more inclusive environment, equal spaces for women and girls to thrive?
Oh, this is yeah, such a big question to answer, but I've looking back on the decade I've been doing business, when I started or founded Tella, I didn't really I had the mission to create jobs for African youth, but I didn't necessarily have any, shall I say, like gender agenda. I didn't particularly have women or men in mind. But as our business grew, I would say roughly 70% or more of our tutors have been women. And I think this came really naturally because the industry that we're in is actually a service industry, education industry. So educators, naturally, there are just more women that were willing to work for the job, but also more women were qualified. Also, customers, 70% or more are women. So, and so our customers, women naturally, or at least in my country, women customers really love the lady tutors. And actually men like their tutors to be women in general. So it really came naturally. And so when I look back on that whole journey, in order, I would say in the future for myself or for anybody that wants to create more opportunities for women, I would recommend kind of look into the fields, the industries, or business models that come naturally to women. So I guess being a woman myself, it was I didn't really think about it at the time, but looking back, I naturally leaned into a field that I understand well as a woman, as a customer, and as a service provider. And so, of course, every individual woman has their own strengths and weaknesses. Of course, everybody is different with their God-given talent or any skill sets they've built over the years. However, I think there is I guess, tendency of women that women's strength, which so if you go into the field that women have the natural strength, or just we have the strength then it will naturally create more opportunities for women. So I think that I can answer that first part in that regard. And I think the latter part you were mentioning about the inclusive environment in a global digital economy. So the business I've been doing is kind of global in a sense where it's bridging continents, Africa and Asia, very different cultures, languages, environment, infrastructure. And when I think about this question, I do think that women really, women being a big part of our company, our tutors, our customers, and even our team as well. We had the majority women team. So in a cross-cultural setting or in a global setting, having women in a team or in our whole ecosystem really, I think, fueled bridging the gap, meaning the gap meaning the cultural gap. So I think traditionally women have always been people that charge the culture. So we form the culture, shape the culture. Women in general are just more open to, we have bigger openness to new things, to new culture. So traditionally, and even in the modern world, women are just more able to be that agent to bridge cultures together. So if you are looking at, if you're an entrepreneur looking into doing global or cross-border business, or if you're a professional that you want to go out of your homeland and do things globally, if you are a woman, you can use that inherent strength that you have, being adaptable to different cultures, and be successful in that sense. If you're in charge of a team or a company, then having women in that sense really will help bridge that gap. I do believe that, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. So I loved what you said in terms of leaning into, women should lean into their inherent strength and not trying to be men, especially in a male-dominated space. And also the great, the great thing where you said that we are connectors across cultures. We are able to be adaptable as well. That's absolutely amazing. And also kudos to you and congratulations. 70% of women, employed in tele, and in terms of, also them being more qualified than men as well in this space, and most of your customers also being women. It really shows also to your strength and who you are as an entrepreneur, which is absolutely amazing, and well done on that. Rizani, with your extensive expertise in both fintech and telecommunications, mentorship is essential for fostering the next generation of leaders. How do you see your role in mentoring young women in tech, particularly in complex fields like cybersecurity and enterprise architecture? And what advice would you offer to women starting out in these fields, and how can they better prepare themselves to take on leadership roles and innovate in the tech space?
Yeah, thank you for the lovely soft question. And I think I love this because, it's no one answer fits all. And I think you mentioned mentorship in there and cybersecurity. In the areas that I grew up with, cybersecurity was not even known. So it was going to be very difficult to get that mentorship. Knowing my path and what I've seen, I'll really say play with fire, start your projects, to touch a lot of technologies, try to innovate in areas where you're with. Security and tech, there's not much large difference. In security, actually protecting the tech assets. So what you want to do is start, floating around and just have that innovative place to play. I think for especially women, if you look at the computer science field, a lot of women tend to drop out when it gets harder in terms of programming and all the mathematics subjects. So if you're not cut for it, you kind of like fall away. But in cybersecurity, you can always come back. You don't have to be a fully computer engineer who graduated. You can always come back from any of other fields. I think you are touched on a very good point, which I want to borrow or steal from it. Use your strength. So if you came from BCom or you did some accounting, but you find yourself back into cybersecurity, use your strength to start learning. I think the first piece is, fiddle around and create that fire. I think in terms of architecture and enterprise security, when you start designing, if you cut to that field, you'll get a lot of pushbacks. And I always say security or architecture is about convincing people. So find your way to design, share ideas with people, have conversations. You get pushbacks where people don't really like your idea or don't like your design. So don't give up when you see some of those drawbacks. I mean, there's a good example of Michelangelo's statue. I can't remember the actual statue, but he actually designed it, and the founder or the owner who wanted it to be designed didn't like the shape of the nose. So him as an architect from a physical architecture, he went up to the statue, went next to the nose, he just brushed it off a bit, pretended that he was working a lot on it, and enough to create the dust, and he just pushed off the dust, and the owner was quite happy. So what he actually did there was, taking stakeholder input, not pretending to work, but adjusting and twisting a conversation and getting the same output. So I guess my point with that is don't give up, listen to your stakeholders, adapt and change. And this is the world of architecture. And yes, I think get certified. In the beginning I did say play with fire, but along the time, people will want to see your proven technologies that this architecture space, and there's a wide online platforms that you can learn. I'm willing to share on the chat, but get those certifications and have something to back you in your profile. It gets tough when you grow in higher spaces. They want to segregate you based on certifications. So if you have the fire and the certification combined and experience, it becomes easy. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. I love what you said, play with fire. I think that, that's something to be echoed, and also don't give up. As women as well, I think, from the intro, we're very good at undermining ourselves, because we've been undermined. We have a lot of self-doubt as well. So I feel like, don't get discouraged. Echoing on what you've said, don't get discouraged. Learn, educate yourself, and arm yourselves with that knowledge so that you can have a seat at the table. And also innovate and start. It doesn't matter where you are in your journey, just start. That was amazing, Ridzani. Thank you so much. Going back to you, Yua, cross-regional collaboration is essential for accelerating tech growth in Africa. From your diverse experiences, what lessons can Africa learn from other regions, and how can Africa foster stronger collaborations, both within its borders and internationally, to scale innovations and create a stronger entrepreneurial spirit?
Okay. I think I'm very careful to speak on behalf of a whole continent or a whole country. Let me maybe speak based on my experience, just experiencing the African startup ecosystem and then Korea's ecosystem. Now, one thing I would say I really admire about the African startup ecosystem is that the environment, the infrastructure is vastly different. So in Korea, and I think other Asian countries as well, but especially in Korea, it's very government-led, heavily invested by the government or public sector. There's a lot of grants, funding, but not just money, but also a lot of support system within the ecosystem that is a partnership between public and private. So I would say there's a very big cushion for a lot of even first-time entrepreneurs to actually try new things in this region, and not just for startups, shall I say, but also even going into the professional field. There's a lot of programs that you can utilize, whereas in Africa, it differs, of course, by country or by region. But what I've mostly experienced in the major countries is the ecosystem is getting built by amazing people and amazing groups like Maloba Consulting and the people here. Also, governments are putting in place like startup acts or tax breaks, policies, and also investing in infrastructure. However, if we compare the numbers compared to a country like Korea, Africa, definitely for founders or for people in tech, it's not going to be as cushiony to enter. So there might be more personal risk involved. A lot of you have to do a lot of groundwork. You just can't get information easily off the internet or anywhere. You have to really do the groundwork, go to places, build the network, really figure out what you're trying to do. So what I admire about the African startup ecosystem in that sense is the people in the ecosystem really, I think there's you're really risking things. Okay, maybe putting in the time, putting in your finances, putting in and investing when you don't have a certain guarantee. And so I admire the players that are playing in the ecosystem that much more. Also just witnessing a lot of course, a lot of startups or ideas tech might fail in the business sense, but there also has been amazing innovations and results in business from the ecosystem that is greater than any other region. So it can even go pan-African, right? So I really admire that, and I'm personally interested in the African ecosystem because of that, because it's such there's very not a lot of cushion, but there's so much you can do. So it's a new frontier that really you can dream big and create greater impact. Whereas in countries like Korea, or more, shall I say, developed countries, it's difficult. In a sense, it's even more difficult for entrepreneurs to dream big, because a lot of the infrastructure and industries are also already very developed, hyper developed in a way. So there might not actually be a lot of problems to solve, or you might, as a founder, you might not really have that room to really make an impact, because everything's already laid out a lot. The system is very tight. So even if there is a problem to solve in the system, within the system, it might be very difficult, just because it's there already. So a lot of people might have the mentality of, okay, it's working. Why do we need to fix it? So that's the differences I notice between the two regions. Now, that being said, if there is a lesson to be learned, or something that you can maybe learn from my home country, Korea, actually, that's a big reason that one of the big reasons that I started my entrepreneurship journey in Africa, because I witnessed such a great revolution, might not be the best word, but such a great growth and development in my home country. And I wanted to bring whatever we did well, and even the failures that we had, and implement them in Africa within the local context, of course, but we already have abundant data of what worked, what didn't work. So why not use this experience and make things happen, create impact in Africa? Why I'm saying this is Korea, maybe some of you know about this, but in the 1950s, when many countries were becoming independent, Korea was one of them. We had a Korean War, and after the war, we were the second poorest country in the world. So now, 70 years later, we're in the top 10 economies in the world. There's so many factors that played into it, but we don't have abundant natural resources like so many African countries do. All we had was human resource. And I don't want to go into a whole history lesson, but it's really a miraculous industrial growth, economic growth, societal growth in Korea that happened. And it wasn't because we had we weren't born with good resources. It was really people and education that contributed in doing so. And of course, great leaders as well. So I think there's a lot that you can take from a country like Korea, that kind of short modern history in industrial growth or in technological involvement, that you can take. You don't just necessarily have to start from zero. You can look into a country like Korea, or even other countries, look into what worked, what didn't work, business model wise as well, tech as well, and then you can get a head start, right? Like, you don't have to imagine everything from the beginning. You can actually start with a lot of data that already happened. So yeah, that's I hope that answered the question. Yeah.
Vishnu, you're on mute there.
Apologies. Thank you for that. So I'll start again. So I think it's amazing in terms of bringing the expertise across the pond into Africa. I love the sentiments of admiration of the strength of our African counterparts in terms of the resilience they have and taking those bigger risks. In innovating through new ideas, dreaming big in order to create a bigger impact, which is absolutely amazing for Africa. Thank you so much, Yua, for that. Going back to yourself, Ritzani, how do you balance technological advancements with the responsibility to ensure underserved communities benefit from these changes and are not left behind in the digital revolution?
Yeah, it seems like you read some of my background there and posed this question to myself. Yeah, with MTN, we're actually working, I mean, in sustainability, there's a big drive in that digital divide and trying to bridge that technology gap. And if you listen closely to my first answer, I was talking about, getting those qualifications. And just to promote it here, and by no means I'm a spokesperson for the brand, but there's a skills academy drive that MTN is driving just to definitely address that piece. So the skills academy at mtn.com. And that's partnered with LinkedIn Learning, your Coursera, your GSMA. And again, I emphasize it's starting from the basics. We're starting from the way of teaching how to computer, how to do your first programming code. It sounds very little to some of us who've been writing fancy code, but for some of the markets and some of the people in the rural communities, it's fresh news, and they really need it to open up a Gmail account, how to write a CV, study up and apply and get a job. So I think to bridge that digital divide, we need to teach those skills as fast as we can and as basic as we can. More of, I think, taking it back to the basics. In technology and cyber, we almost assume that everybody knows some of these concepts, and it's not actually true, especially in the Africa continent. Yes, different markets are in a different maturity state, but I think if we take a blanket approach and say, if you look at this, especially women in tech, I'm quite surprised you are at 70%. All these tech industries have 30%, 10% at a given date. I mean, the big five by themselves, Apple, Meta, and Amazon, and the rest, they're still on 10% for women. And we're talking executives all the way to senior management. So if you want to build those tech skills from what Africa is growing, we need to go back to the basics and give them those basic courses. This innovation that you're doing here, where we connect to those rural areas and sharing our experience, is also a startup, right? So they're getting to know our difficulties. You gave us a very nice history. I'm going to also research on it, take some of those hard learnings they did. We don't have to repeat it as Africans. We can just carry the data and avoid some of the mistakes or challenges that they encountered. So I think, yes, bridging the gap, we really need to teach those basics. And I hope, Maloba, through your 3 pillars, you can also go to the communities and teach this tech space. I hope that covers your question.
Thank you so much, Ritzani. I think that's an amazing skills academy drive that MTN is doing. And of course, with Maloba Consulting and their initiatives, I'm sure we can bridge the gap and, add more value and especially social impact in the spaces that we operate in. And again, I love that you're echoing, empower yourself through learning, especially as women, so that you can have the seat at the table, you can advocate for yourself, and you can be in those spaces that you then find challenging to enter. So that's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for that. Going back to you, Yuha, how do you manage stress and burnout while balancing the high demands of fast-paced projects and deadlines in the tech and AI industry?
Oh, that's a personal, deep diving into personal experience. So for to paint a picture on what kind of situations or high demand, as Pavashni explained, in this scene has been quite big. The pressure is really big. Tech changes so fast. Customers' demand needs do change as fast as almost as fast as the technology. So and trends really change fast, especially in this region of the world. So it's always a constant competition. Now, on a personal level, how I deal with stress or the pressure coming from it is through prayer and spiritually, but and in a practical sense, I would say I always try to put things into perspective that it ultimately it's I think of it as two ways. One is, yes, I do have to keep up with the market demand, what customer trend is, or what the tech trend is, what technology can we implement into our product, into our service, or how should I prepare for the future. So we do need to study how things are moving and constantly do the research and development and plan for the future. However, one thing that gives me assurance is the other perspective that gives me assurance is that ultimately, I think that human need and human behavior really doesn't change. So the human need is kind of a constant. How it's need in terms of how they want what they want in technology, or what they want, how that need translates into the market might change, but the foundation, the human nature really doesn't change. I do think that. So sometimes it's tech or fancy, trends, or looking sleek, looking trendy, looking tech savvy. You might think that really will adapting that will bring in the money or bring business results, but sometimes it actually doesn't, because even customers do get tired of ever-changing trends, and people in general don't really like change, I think. We do want change, but it doesn't come natural in many ways. So I think that gives, so you have to really reflect on, okay, what, if you're an entrepreneur or if you're a professional, try to think what kind of human nature or human need am I fulfilling, or am I trying to fulfill through what I'm doing? And if what I'm doing already is fulfilling that need, then you don't have to be so anxious about catching up with a trend or catching up with new technology, because ultimately in business and in tech, it's the human that really pays for it or uses the tech, right? So we're not trying to serve robots, we're trying to serve humans. And so if you think about the human nature and try to figure out like what ultimately what need is your business or your product or your industry really serving, and if you can give them satisfaction with what you're doing, then yeah, you're safe. So tech trends, it's just a cherry on top, or it can tweak what you're doing and give optimize what value you're already providing a bit more, but it's not that's just a part of it, right? So yeah, if you can reflect on that and you're confident about that you are what, if you're confident about your intuition or your understanding about your customers or your the fundamentals, then yeah, you don't have to worry.
Amazing. That's such a nice, refreshing response that I've heard in a long time. It's not the norm. So yes, I like that you reflected on, it was very encouraging to hear focusing in terms of the solution to your problem, so that can put things into a perspective for yourself. And that's such a great roundup of that. Thank you so much for that, Yuha. And yourself, Ridzani, what strategies do you use to foster work-life balance in an environment that often values productivity and innovation over personal well-being?
Yeah, I'll say, besides praying or adding on to the prayer, which you should summarize from your, I think, have a sense of humor. I think we have went through a lot, especially in Africa. Post-COVID, we underestimated, the working from home, and now we're going back to the, hybrid situation. And I think if you take life too seriously, you might even fall off the wagon of trying to so-called balance, which I don't believe you can balance. You have to juggle between work and personal. And in this case, I think if you find a sense of humor, if you find yourself, looking for, jokes around, you could get away with one day, and face the next day. Besides that, I think embrace the work from home attitude. I think with that, if you read a lot of books, it doesn't have to be tech books, go off-road, read anything that you like. That gives you a broader perspective of life as a whole. When you come back to the tech space, I still emphasize train as much as you can. That just gives you keeps the oil running in the machine. And once you can do that, I think adding on its family. If you find yourself, getting closer and closer to family, they actually the people who fuel you up if you share your dreams with. So share your goals with your family, share your frustrations. You don't have to share with the entire portfolio of your family because, there's dynamics and family I'll say issues in those regards, but you'll always find one, whether it's your sister, your brother, parents, if you're still lucky, they're able to kickstart you. If you're married like some of us, have kids, they kind of like restart you back to, to your 15-year-old. You get back the energy. Of course, they draw on your energy, but they give you another 10 years to go. You're no longer doing it for yourself now. You're doing it for your spouse, you're doing it for a girl child or a boy child. So family is the ultimate pillar as well. And then from just normal work politics and work stress, I mean, especially with this woman in drive for a boy child as an example, you start feeling left out from those opportunities that you feel you deserve. So my advice to the boys on the call, it's not a fight, it's not a war. We're bridging the gap that women have felt. So you need to embrace and play a long-term goal, Same goes for women. You might not qualify for this position even with this policy changes. It doesn't mean that there's other better men or, you're feeling the historical disadvantage. It only means sharpen up, laugh, pray, speak to your family, get mentorship so that you can bounce back and try to fit in that. And if everything fails, there's professional people out there, speak to other people. If that soft family vibe is not coming up, get a professional, share, even if it's just career guidance, maybe you need a change of career. It actually helps. Just about last year, I left cybersecurity to do sustainability for the sake of peace and well-being. And that gave me a broader aspect to business, how corporate affairs runs the entire business. And there were no talks of cybersecurity besides building the Skills Academy platform. But beyond that, I was hearing, events, I was hearing politics around the geopolitics issues, statements and media. And that gave me a fresh feeling to balance my life instead of getting frustrated in the cyber space and technology space. So if everything fails, just move around and find something that drives you back again. Yeah, thank you.
Amazing. Again, agility is coming back into it and changing perspectives. You're not a tree or a house. You can move, you can change direction. You can change, you can move with the times. You can be agile. You can always return back at a later date. Amazing. I also liked the sentiments of having a sense of humor, laughing. That's always great. I think that always puts everybody at ease, irrespective of color, shape, culture. It's always something that sort of brings everybody together. And I think also just the point that you made in terms of making sure you make time for your hobbies as well, and leaning on your family for support or your friends around you, having that support system around you. And if for one reason or the other, you don't have that around yourself, getting that professional support as well, so that you can continue to be your greatest self, and because we need you in this space. So amazing. Thank you so much. I'd just like to pose a quick question to the MC team. Do we have any questions from our audience before I conclude?
Yes, there's a question in the chat.
I'm not sure that I'm okay. Sorry, just give me a second. I'm trying to pull it up. If somebody could just help me to read it out, apologies. I'm not seeing it.
Right, it's one of the watchers on LinkedIn, Sachin Amwate. It says, being a startup in agriculture, we had tried to recruit women, but skill levels and mobility we found to be lacking. In startup environment, we can't afford high cost. We found women to be less flexible. What are your thoughts on this? We do want to put more women, but we are not able to retain them due to more field work and required by manpower, whereas 60% of our farmers are women and 70% agent women, but fully employed women are not able to do. Yeah, so that's the question.
Would one of you like to take the question?
I think Sachin is, oh, sorry. I would love to hear from Zani first. Sachin is, I think it's one of my friends actually in Uganda. Yeah, so I'd love to hear. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a friend who runs a piggery farm, and it's quite interesting that this question. I thought that was one of my friends, or actually the business owner, but looks like it's not. But it's quite the opposite in South Africa at one of the farms, and I think that model works. So one of the things that they did, they partnered with a local college at an early stage, and again, maybe it goes back to the strength issue and how you utilize women in that aspect. So depending on the job description or on the levels of your farming, you could actually pay them based on strength, because there's actually women who are studying in that space if it's agriculture. So it's not quite often that perhaps they don't fit from a strength or that hard labor, but I'll say use their strength to their advantage. If it means they start up on what I've seen in the farm, basic cleaning, doing some admin work so that they get to learn around. There's some women who can go all the way and do a full job end to end. And that's a skill issue and an attitude issue as well. I think also mentoring, what these students study in classroom versus what they see in a piggery. I mean, if you visit any piggery, it's not the best place to be 24 hours, right? And I could imagine for a woman, it might even be worse compared to a man. So I think just mentoring them and showing them what a classroom versus a physical workplace looks like. I think it's on the onus is on the business owner to nurture and improve and guide the female in this space, and you could have the best farmers in the future. Maybe it's a new trend that post 2030 we can dream about women in farming. and change the narrative. At least that's my personal experience.
Thank you so much, Radzani. We actually do have another question, so I'll pose it to you, Juha, unless you have any pressing commentary on the previous question that you would like to address.
Yeah, just briefly. Yes, I think it. I'll have to see what kind of job you're trying to target women to join in on. So I think it really depends on the job description. But if there's a particular reason you want women on staff as a full-time staff, but there's some kind of problems, as you mentioned, to retain the women, then if there's that particular reason you want the women, let's say, for example, I don't know, maybe it's because they might have a more friendly face for customers or partners. Let's say that's the reason you want them on board, or if it's for the sake of your team's culture, then maybe you can reshape the job description a little bit to lean in on the exact reason why you would want women for that job. Maybe have them focus on that more and give a little bit of flexibility on the reasons why women might not apply for the job. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that insight. So the new question that's come through is, how can we ensure that the rise of women in Africa's tech ecosystem is not just a trend, but a long-term sustainable shift? What policies, partnerships, and innovations are needed to drive lasting change? That's for yourself, Juha, if that's all right.
Okay. This is I guess this is something that I've been thinking about, maybe not necessarily as a woman, but as an entrepreneur first, for the past decade. Especially now I'm trying to launch new business models where I'm trying to create greater impact, not just hundreds of jobs, but can it be thousands or if not more? So I've been thinking and trying to strategize and come up with the answer of this actually. Now, regarding as an entrepreneur, to speak very bluntly or frankly on my thoughts, is when we try to I think moving forward in the tech ecosystem, of course, sometimes we do need policies in place or infrastructure, yes, but we can't really rely on that or expect that to happen. Like, we can do our best to put in our voices, etc., but we can't just simply expect government or outside factors to change. So I'm trying to think of ways for myself, actually, how can I bring partnerships where we can actually brand the African, in my case, the African talent, because I do want to bring in more African talent into the global digital workspace. For example, if we're to compare to other regions, let's say India or the Philippines, these are countries or regions that are known globally for certain skill sets in the digital space, right? Whereas we do have that talent in Africa, but I think in terms of brand or recognition, it is lacking in the global market. Now, how do we, so I'm trying to solve that as with my own business, but sometimes just one company's impact would be limited. So my strategy, or how I want to move forward, is in this space is maybe it can be a coalition of startups or tech companies that have the same mission as I do. Our strengths might be different. We each do our own thing, but we also have an agreement or deal that can benefit each other, where we can make this whole partnership, this actually big partnership, flip it into like a value chain. So not just a partnership, but we can say to the global market, we actually have a whole value chain all over the African continent. And if we aggregate all the talent that we have, it might be even millions that are verified in certain skill sets. And in that way, it's going to be much more easier. It's a higher leverage to get the opportunities in the global market. Whereas if I just go, let's say, with my several hundred or several thousand database of talent, it's still going to be difficult to get the work. Whereas, let's say we have a coalition of 100 companies with 1 million talent, that's going to be a whole different marketing strategy. So this is actually something that I've been currently thinking about in my own business, but I'd love to have this kind of discussion with people in this group in the future as well. So yeah, going back to that question, to long-term sustainable shift, I think there has to be some kind of movement, strategic actions within the private, like startup entrepreneurs, because we do have the drive, and we do have, like, we're risking it, right? We're not just there for the paycheck. We have to create our own paycheck, right? So how can we have that motivation? So why not have that partnership? Yeah. So
amazing, Yua. That's really great to hear. I look forward to seeing what you develop and hearing a little bit more in terms of adding value in the space, and also, bringing more women to the table. I look forward to hearing a little bit more about that. We do have one more question, and that's for yourself, Rizani. In your perspective, what key responsibilities should accelerators, incubators, and corporate partners have in supporting female founders in Africa? Are current initiatives enough, or do we need a more tailored approach?
Yeah, I think this question is more for Maloba Consulting than for for business like where I work. But I think for incubators and corporate partners, I think that partnership plays a long role. And I think if you borrow a bit from the previous question, if you're not intent in the policy side, all these initiatives is just it's just a whitewash in the media to try to bridge this gap. So I think if we want to bridge this and support female founders, I think if we partner a lot, I mean, if you look at MTN's partnership with Girl Code, it's quite amazing. And what Girl Code it's aiming to do is to do, I think it's 10 million jobs in 2030. And we can build it from a corporate level, right? So if we partner with Girl Code, if they train females from bottom up, we are able to consume, some of those best qualities. That makes it easier for us. From a accelerating point of view, I think if we set up more tighter deadlines, I think the actual efforts becomes much easier. I think at MTN we aiming about 50% women in the overall space and about 30% in the tech space. So having that intentionally makes it more action based. And if you look at the UN target for now, it's I think we move from acceleration to acceleration to action. So we're no longer wanting to accelerate. We actually want to action and consume and support those small companies. I hope that answers the question.
Amazing. That sounds great. Also, again, looking forward to seeing the future initiatives by MTN, and looking forward to hearing more. And I'm sure those of our listeners today on the call, on the webinar, would like to hear more, especially if we have students on there and young women wanting to enter the space. Thank you so much. I'm sure we can continue this conversation. It's been so fruitful and so great. I'm sure we're going to move forward and have a few more of these and structure the discussions around some of the important topics that were brought up today. But thank you both, Rizani and Yua, for your time today. I'd just like to say thank you so much. Your journeys remind us that Diversity is not just a checkbox exercise, but a catalyst for innovation and growth. Empowering women uplifts entire communities and drives innovation. The time for gender inclusivity in tech and AI is now. Let's create a future where every woman has the chance to thrive. Empowering women in technology is more than filling roles. It's about fostering leaders, innovators, and change makers who will reshape their industries and inspire generations for the powerhouse that women are becoming. To the women out there and also to our men allies, be bold, break barriers, speak up, be intentional for a seat at the table. Challenge biases and stereotypes in the workplace, advocate for equal opportunities in tech and leadership, support and uplift your fellow women in STEM, and mentor the next generation of women in tech. Build inclusive environments where diversity fuels innovation. Thank you so much to everyone that's joined. I believe we do have some announcements. I'm going to hand back to the MC team.
Hi, I just want to thank you, the panel, for being so informative. There's a lot that I learned. I remember actually reading about the sustainability of MTN sustainability, but I didn't know that it actually included women. I did a bit of a study on it for one of my modules when I was doing my degree. So it's actually quite interesting that there's an inclusion of women in the sustainability. I think it was more, there was like reach a certain number of, basically, let me think straight, reach a certain number of technological setups in a certain year and employment and everything. I'm very passionate about employment. I'm very passionate about the economy growing so that people can have a sustainable life, not just to have, not depend on grants and depend on the government. I believe the government can really not help you, especially when it comes to women. It's not going to help us. So we are born to be traders. We are born to be just bold. We're just born to be people who constantly brings people together, and that's what I've learned. I mean, I grew up in a family where there was so much business. My mom, aunt, my grandmother, they were all teachers, but they all had their businesses, and I learned so much from them that, you know what, you don't just depend on your, let me just say, your career, but you also have to be innovative as a woman. You have to go out, and they call it take the knife by the sharp side. There is a saying in my language, but yeah, I don't remember it, but it's more like you take the sharpest side of the knife and you run with it. That's a woman. So thank you so much to the panel. Thank you so much. I didn't know, to Yuha, I didn't know much. I didn't know a lot about the Korean history. I learned a lot today. It's always about China. So finally, someone talks about Korea and what's happening there, the depths of business and partnerships and everything. It makes a difference to my knowledge, and it changes a lot. So before I even before I announce the big announcement, I just want us to take a group photo. I would like everyone to basically switch on their cameras so we can take like a group photo just to memorize this event. I'm just going to, I think I need to be host again. Zandy, is it okay if you switched on your camera? Thank you so much. MC team, sorry, can I be the host again? Because I need to do it on my side just to take the proper group photo to include everyone.
I think we've made you the host, so you can just double check. We have a few more people on the call that haven't switched on their camera, which is just for 2 minutes, and then we can take the group photo.
No problem.
Everybody is looking beautiful. That is true, Pravashni. I agree. All right. You can go ahead and take the picture, Paul.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Alternatively, you can also just make me the host and then I'll help you.
Yes, I have it.
Ah,
Can you click allow on your side? Oh gosh, did it take everyone?
well, I got the prompt. I don't know about everybody else.
I can do a retake. Let me do a retake of the group.
Okay.
Is everyone ready?
Yes.
Cool. Just take a photo. Okay. Is it possible that I'm only seeing myself here?
I think it works that way.
Okay, no problem. We just download.
To the old school way. There you go.
All right. Yeah, I think we can move on.
Yeah, I think it's done. Okay, just to announce the big announcement, let me just share my screen once again. Excuse me for that. Okay, so once again, we have an MC Women Tech applications now open. That is our big announcement. So basically, you join our investment readiness program, and it's a 7 weeks program designed to equip female-led startups and entrepreneurs with the knowledge, skills, and resources needed to attract secure investment. Once again, as women, we need like a bigger platform for us to be acknowledged and recognized, especially in the business sector. So as Maloba Consulting, we have decided to create a program which is basically focuses on women and growing their businesses. So the Investment Readiness Accelerator program, that's the WOMTech. It includes like 2 1-hour call sessions per week, one-on-one mentorship session per week. So basically, we as Maloba Consulting, we assign you a mentor within that 7 weeks to mentor you and take you through your business on how to grow it. And you will also receive AWS startup credits. You get training on sector agnostic support for female-led tech startups. Excuse me. And then there's demo day on the Thursday after the program. I believe I actually spoke about it before that. Demo day is where you present your idea, you present your business, and we showcase on how you as a woman are going to contribute to the economy and build basically build other businesses through yours. And just to talk a little bit about the 7 weeks program, I'm not going to mention everything, as we'll leave the link in the chats just for anyone who's interested, and they can go through our presentation. So in the first week, we do investor mindset and funding landscape. So this is where we teach. We teach you how to have an investor mindset. You understand different funding options, because there's actually different kinds of funding. There isn't just investors, there's different kinds from all angles, and each one is interested in a different type of business. So we will help you to understand the different funding options, so you can actually program your mind, fix your mind on what will be best for your business. And once again, week 2, there's financial modeling and valuation. We teach you how to build a strong financial model. It's very important to know how projections are very important. Also, it's good to be realistic about projections. So we'll teach you how to be realistic. Realistically, you can't say your business will grow at, let's say, 10-20% per month or in a year. You don't know. So we basically teach you, we show you the different kinds of angles which you look at when creating a financial model, so you have a realistic view of how your business will perform. And then once again, in week 3, there's pitching and investor communication. This is where we help you, teach you how to craft a compelling investor pitch. The do's and don'ts of pitching, live pitch coaching, and feedback. It's very important that we know how to pitch, and we're very open about the businesses that we want to do, especially as women. I know many of you have watched Dragon's Den. You've watched, there's another one, Shark Tank, where now that is the reality of how you pitch a business. Obviously, many of these shows are, they are dramatized. I don't know if that's the word. However, we teach you the realistic part of it. So basically, we show you the do's and don'ts. So when you come across such investors, you know what to say, you know what to ask for, and you know how to grow their money and grow yours. And then week 4, we teach you how to do market expansion and growth strategies. This is the go-to-market strategy and customer acquisition. And once again, week 5, legal and fundraising readiness. We teach you how to be legally ready and how to be ready for fundraising, because it's not just something that happens out of the blue, but it's good to actually get coaching and mentorship on how to do it. And that's what Maloba Consulting brings to the table. And then we have one of the most important things that one should know as a woman in tech startups or a small business is that you need to have a data room, what investors need to see. So if you don't have a data room, investors don't know what they're investing in. So a data room shows the investor exactly what you've been busy with, what you've been up to, who's backing your business, what you've been doing. It shows the activity of your business. And many of the investors are very picky in a sense that they need to see the gory details and the good details in one group. So the data room gives them that information of that you're busy. You're not just asking for money, but you want to basically do as you say with your business. And then we have week 6, where there will be fundraising strategy and negotiation, how to successfully raise capital, valuation strategies and fundraising tactics, negotiation skills for securing investment. This is where we teach you on how to do that. And then week 7, once again, there's demo day where you prep and investor introductions. This is pitch day where you pitch your business. And we teach you how to do a mock investor Q&A sessions, how to answer questions correctly, and how to basically stand out as a woman in tech. And this will be the final presentation and networking with investors. And this is where we say, may the best one win. Let me just check. yes, as a consultancy company, we also give sponsors an opportunity to benefit from us. There's different tiers. Once again, we have the bronze, which is the $1,000, which is equivalent to 19,900 Rand. And that is like the benefits that you receive from us as Malaba Consulting in the bronze pack sector is branding on social media, shout out during events. So basically, you get recognition. It's like advertising on your behalf for more recognition for your company or for your business. And then once again, we have the silver tier, which is $2,500, equivalent to 49,900. This brings more benefits for the sponsor. Adding on to the branding and shout out, there's panel participation like today. You get to participate in panel discussions. You get to present your business too, I believe, like just briefly tell us about your business. You also get increased social media exposure and newsletters. And then we have the gold pack, which is $5,000, which is 94,900 equivalent in rands. This is all the benefits in one. So on top of the branding, the shout out, the panel participation, increased social media, you get exclusive branding, keynote speech, media feature, live event branding, and advertisement. This is for our sponsors who are interested in sponsoring our warm tech or who want to be part of our group. And then once again, join the movement. To align your brand with African tech and innovators. If you want more information, this is our details page where you can contact us at malabaconsulting.com. Our website is www.malabaconsulting.com, where you'll find more information about the company. And you also find applications to the Women in Tech. It closes on the 8th of May. That is the deadline. It opens today and it closes on the 8th of May. So you have much time to decide if you want to join us. You have much time to decide if you want to start a business today, and we will coach you, we will guide you, we will basically hold your hand throughout the journey of being an entrepreneur as a woman. And we have a lot of sponsors who sponsor us as partners. I just want to mention just a few, maybe 2 or 3. We have Stellenbosch Business School, which is a very prominent business school. A lot of millionaires, I believe, were born from that business school. We have multi-event, where you get to basically advertise your event. If you have an event as a business, as a company, you have Silicon Overdrive, you have Kenosis, Lelo, Tasty Foods, just to name the least. I'm just picking and choosing here. So these are the sponsors and partners who are with us, who've supported us. And yeah, I just want to thank you. And these are the contact details. If you don't know how to reach us, these are contact details. Our website, Malaba Consulting, once again, and we are situated in Cape Town. And I just want to thank everyone. Over to Daniel.
This is going to be brief. I just wanted to start by thanking Paul for an amazing job as an MC. So thank you, Paul. I want to thank Pravashni Reddy for being such an amazing moderator. And I want to thank our panelists. This is a Saturday. You could have ended it late in the evening in Korea. So it's a big sacrifice on your side. So thank you. And Rosani, thank you for your time. This is a time that you could have spent with your loved ones or doing something else, but yes, instead you chose to give back to the community. And as we've seen in this conversation, it's an allyship, right? Allyship is actually better than anything else. Men and women alike need to learn to coexist and collaborate to support one another in a respectful way, and for those who are on top to bring those who are still at the bottom, and so on and so forth. So I like what I see today, and I like what I'm hearing today, looking from a corporate perspective coming from a person of a founder perspective, from a person of an investment perspective, there's much hope for our continent. We have much work to do on a beautiful African continent, and this is not going to happen just with one organization. Malabar Consulting alone cannot do everything, and we need sponsors, we need partners, we need collaborators, we need people to join the movement, as Paul said. And so you're all welcome to engage with us. And I want to thank you to our audience for making the time to participate into this conversation. Our live stream viewers on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and the people in the room here on Zoom, just want to thank you again. This shows how your heart is in the right place in terms of wanting to participate in spaces like this is the beginning of the change that we want to see. So kudos to all of you. And from Malabar Consulting and the whole team, just want to thank you. Happy International Women's Day one more time, and have a great one, everybody. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
You Women's Day.